Okay, so now my voice should be much clearer now. No annoying static or humming at the beginning of the recording and throughout it. At least I hope. But yeah, I kind of improved my recording setup, even though like it's still trying to improve. I'm still tinkering with all the noise levels and stuff, so please excuse me for that. I'm still experimenting. But here we are in the playoffs. This is DDL Season 3, and I made it to the playoffs, and now I have to fight my Week 1 opponent again for the quarterfinals. None of us really changed anything at all in terms of our draft. The only difference is that the Arboliva is now Terra Fairy instead of Terra Steel. That could be a problem. Makes it way harder for Samurott to deal with, as well as my Arcanine. I can't do an emergency Flare Blitz, and instead I can just Strength Sap everything back. But yeah, we're not gonna go too much in here because it's the same draft. And because it's the same draft, excuse me, I'm gonna use literally the exact same team. That's right. I know that's a bad idea to use the exact same team with 0 differences, but I felt like I won our last match very comfortably. It was a 5-0, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I feel like this team that I built in the beginning is well equipped for any situation that Arminius decides to throw at me. So, let me just do a brief rundown again. Physically defensive Arcanine to be okay switch-in versus Cinderace and Zamazenta. And low kicks, thanks to Intimidate. And I have Will-O-Wisp and Morning Sun to keep my physical walling abilities. And since most of Arminius' draft is very physical, that's why I'm going very defensive against him. And we have Samurott, same thing. Ice Beam is to deny Dragonite from setting up on me. Everything else is just for big damage and spikes. Serena is get my spin up. Play rough to stop Dragonite from setting up again. Ursaring, another Dragonite stopper. I also am very tanky with Eviolite, so all his physical attacks should bounce right off me. And I can Terra or not based on what move I want to be hit from by Zamazenta. Palisand, standard set. Max physically defensive to counter Zamazenta and Great Tusk and check Cinderace. And then we have Scarf Zapdos. Now I'm not gonna try to sacrifice it turn 1 this time. So that's the only revision I am going to do from our last match. I'm not gonna just blindly sack Zapdos. But without further ado, let's get into the quarterfinals. So we can see that the only difference is that Great Tusk got replaced for low kicks. It's good for me. Now supposedly I can't just blindly sacrifice Zapdos turn 1. But I am gonna lead Zapdos, I think. Because look, the Brave Bird just looks so free here. Yeah, so I know I said I would not sack it blindly, so Gonna be very careful about this. Here comes Cinderace. Now, I know Brave Bird will kill it, so I'm just gonna go for it. Goes for the Slow King. Brave Bird looks like it could kill, but I'm not gonna chance the roll. I'm gonna save Zapdos because a nice speedy Brave Bird would always be nice as insurance. So he doubles the Slow King into Zamazenta as I send out Samurott, which is a good play. Now over here I am forced to go into my Palossand, because that's my counter. Yep, and they double again. That was a good read. So they got Palossand versus Dragonite, which is the worst matchup for me out of all our 6 Pokemons. So that was a really good positioning from Arminius. But my Ursaring, as I said in week 1, it's EV'd to always beat Dragonite 1v1 even if it gets 1 free turn of setup. So I wasn't I didn't feel too scared by that good positioning by Arminius. So now he's starting to boost up. I'm like, okay, I can play that too. And I feel like, yep, I Terra Fairy'd this time because I was expecting a fighting move or a dragon move, but they still continue to set up. So at this point I'm like, okay then, I guess we're all going to +6. But once he switched out to Slow King, that was a very questionable play. Yeah, Dragonite couldn't have touched Ursaring, but before this switch, I realized, wait a minute, Dragonite can use Encore. If Dragonite Encores me right now into Bulk Up, I think that was GG. He could get up to +6 and then just sweep my entire team. But I don't think Dragonite had Encore. So that was very close. This is why I just went for Bulk Up again, because the thought of Encore didn't really cross me until Dragonite switched out. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm safe now. Over here, Slow King, I didn't want it to do some sort of pressuring shenanigan with Future Sight, but instead it just opts at Chilling Water. So that's 1 kill, and now that I'm super juiced up on the physically defensive side, the only way that Arminius can take me down is with Arboliva. So, because everyone else is a physical attacker. Zamazenta, even though it has steel moves, that's not gonna break through my +3 defense with Eviolite and defense investment. So, yep, and Heavy Slam does nothing. I just heal it up. At this point, I'm just gonna get to +6 and try to win the game. Arboliva is the only threat. It could be some sort of grass-type nuke with its terrain ability, but Sleep Talk gets me a good pull. And I would have liked to play rough over here and to get the 1-hit KO, but and now it begins to sub-seed. I'm like, oh, uh-oh. It could do some shenanigans with sub-seeding, but thankfully Play Rough didn't miss. Now as long as Play Rough doesn't miss again, I can't get sub-seed stalled. So Arminius realizes that and goes for that. There's kind of nothing he can do now unless he can like flinch me or do some sort of way to immobilize me so that Leech Seed can put me in range of any of his physical attackers. But yeah, the Dragonite does not have Encore, and it's looking like Ursaring is about to get a 6-0. So I'm just getting healthy just in case something weird happens. Leech Seed is not going to be a problem. I don't mind the bulk up. Makes it so Cinderace can't harm me even more, especially with Sword Stance. And my Play Rough missed, which is a little unfortunate. And now it's kind of scary since Cinderace is triple damage. But I always have Play Rough. And yeah, they have to get greedy. And at this point, it's GG. There is nothing that can happen except for Play Rough missing a million times. Even with multi-scale, I'm just too boosted to not one-hit KO it. There's the Terrabug low kicks. And in summary, yeah, Armenius did have too much physical attackers. And they had decent outs like the Sub-Seeding Arboliva and the Rocky Helmet Chilling Water Slowking. But both of those outs are more like just delaying the inevitable, because Leech Seed's chip is not enough to counteract Rest healing. And honestly, if it was Dragon Dance Encore Dragonite, this would have been a 6-0 in their favor. But from here, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want this sub-seeding BS to keep going on. I'm gonna break its sub and then just get the kill with Zapdos. Get the one-hit KO. It can't Terra into Fairy anymore. The Play Rough misses, so I just want to make sure that it's not gonna start spamming sub. And once I realize it's just gonna keep Earth powering me, I'm like, okay, well, time for the kill. And yeah, once I was able to gauge Play Rough's damage, it's enough to break through the sub. I know that they're not gonna spam sub, so it should be an easy switch to Zapdos. I'm gonna be a little greedy and try to get a Defiant boost from Strength Sap. I didn't get it, but over here, it's GG now. Either of my stabs are super effective. And that's that. Ursaring put the hands on Armenius. That is very, very disgusting from Ursaring. Eviolite makes them so tanky. And with that, I start off very strong with a 6-0 going into semifinals now. My next matchup is going to be very scary. It's one of the opponents I previously lost to, so we'll see if I made any attempts at improving from last time. Thank you very much. See ya.